Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Mira's English podcast. Wherever you are right now, whether you are walking in the park, sitting on your favorite chair with a cup of tea, or maybe laying in bed trying to find a moment of peace, I am so glad you are here with me. Today, I want to talk about something we all share. It is a feeling that visits us more often than we would like to admit. You know that feeling, don't you? Imagine this. You have a goal. Maybe it is to learn 5 new English words a day. Maybe it is to read that book sitting on your shelf for months. Or maybe it is something simple, like washing the dishes that are piling up in the sink. You want to do it. You know it is good for you. But you just can't. It feels like there is an invisible wall between you and the task. You sit there. You look at your phone. You check the time. You tell yourself, I will start in 5 minutes. But 5 minutes turn into an hour, and an hour turns into a whole evening of feeling guilty. We often call this laziness. We criticize ourselves. We say, why am I like this? Why can't I just work hard like everyone else? But my friend, I want you to take a deep breath with me and let it out. What if I told you that you are not lazy? What if I told you that this heaviness you feel isn't a character flaw? It is simply physics. It is the physics of the mind. And today, we are going to learn a very small, very gentle secret to overcome it. It is called the 2-minute rule. But before we talk about the rule, we need to understand the enemy. And the enemy is not you. The enemy is the friction of starting. Let me tell you a story. It's not a story about a superhero. It's a story about a version of myself from a few years ago. I remember waking up on a Saturday morning. I had a big plan. I was going to clean my entire apartment, study for 3 hours, and then go to the gym. It sounded perfect on paper. But you can guess what happened, right? I woke up. I looked at the mess in the living room. I thought about the 3 hours of studying. I thought about the heavy weights at the gym. And suddenly, my brain felt tired. Not my body, but my brain. The task felt too big. It felt like a mountain. So, what did I do? I sat on the sofa. I opened social media, and I scrolled and scrolled. The scientists have a name for this. They call it analysis paralysis. When a task looks too big, your brain sees it as a threat. Specifically, a part of your brain called the amygdala, the part that processes fear, lights up. You see, to your ancient brain, a big, difficult task looks like a predator. It looks like danger. So your brain wants to protect you. It wants to keep you safe and comfortable. So it sends a signal. Don't move. Stay here. Save energy. That is why you feel paralyzed. You are fighting millions of years of biology. But here is the good news. You don't have to fight the mountain. You just have to move a pebble. This brings us to the 2-minute rule. The concept was made famous by the author James Clear in his wonderful book, Atomic Habits. But the philosophy goes even deeper than that. The rule is simple. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. Read that again in your mind. Less than 2 minutes. You might be thinking, Mira, that sounds silly. I can't learn English in 2 minutes. I can't get fit in 2 minutes. What is the point? I understand why you think that. We live in a world that celebrates big results. We want the transformation now. We want to run the marathon, not just tie our shoes. But here is the secret. You cannot improve a habit that does not exist. Let me say that again because it is so important. You cannot improve a habit that does not exist. The goal of the 2-minute rule is not to finish the task. The goal is to master the art of showing up. Let's go back to my Saturday morning story. Remember I wanted to go to the gym? and I failed because I thought about the 1-hour workout. If I used the 2-minute rule, my goal would not be workout for an hour. My goal would be put on my running shoes. That's it, just put on the shoes. Can you put on your shoes in 2 minutes? Of course. Is it scary? No. Is it difficult? No. Does your brain feel threatened? Absolutely not. It is easy. And once the shoes are on, you might think, well, I am already wearing them. I might as well step outside. And once you are outside, you might think, well, I might as well walk for a bit. You see, the hardest part of any journey is not the road, it is the front door. It is the moment of leaving comfort. The 2-minute rule is the key that unlocks that door without making a sound. I want you to think about your own life right now. What is something you have been putting off? Is it reading a book? I have to read 1 chapter a day, you tell yourself. That sounds heavy. Apply the rule. Change it to, I will read 1 page. Actually, make it even smaller. I will open the book and read the first sentence. Is it writing in your journal? Don't try to write a whole page about your feelings. Change it to, I will open my notebook and write the date. It sounds almost like cheating, doesn't it? It sounds too easy to be effective, but that is exactly why it works. It removes the fear. It removes the expectations. It allows you to start without pressure. Now, I want to take this deeper, because this is not just about productivity. This is about how we treat ourselves. When we set huge goals and fail to meet them, we hurt our relationship with ourselves. We start to believe that we are not capable. We start to label ourselves as failures or lazy. Every time you promise yourself you will do a big task, and then you don't do it, you lose a little bit of trust in yourself. It is like having a friend who always promises to meet you, but never shows up. Eventually, you stop believing them. But the 2-minute rule helps you rebuild that trust. When you say, I will just put on my shoes, and you actually do it, you kept a promise. When you say, I will just open the textbook, and you do it, you kept a promise. It is a small victory, but it is still a victory. And in those 2 minutes, you are casting a vote for the person you want to become. You are telling yourself, I am the kind of person who takes action. I am the kind of person who shows up. And that, my friends, is more important than the result. But I know what you are thinking. I can hear the question in your mind. Mira, okay, I put on my shoes. I read 1 sentence. But how does that help me achieve big things? I can't build a career in 2 minutes. That is a great question. And the answer lies in a concept called momentum, or as Sir Isaac Newton called it, the law of inertia. Newton said, objects in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects at rest tend to stay at rest. Right now, if you are procrastinating, you are an object at rest. You are stuck. The heavy energy is holding you down. The 2-minute rule is the tiny push that turns you into an object in motion. Once you start, something magical happens in your brain. The anxiety drops. The resistance fades. You realize the task wasn't as scary as you thought. And often, very often, you will find yourself continuing long past the 2 minutes. You put on your shoes to walk for 2 minutes, but you end up walking for 20. You open the book to read 1 sentence, but you end up reading 5 pages. But, and this is very important, you don't have to. You truly allow yourself to stop after 2 minutes if you want to, because the victory was in the starting. So, how do we apply this into our daily lives, especially when learning English or trying to grow as a person? I have a student. Her name is Lan. She was terrified of speaking English. Every time she thought about practicing, she imagined a stressful conversation with a foreigner. She imagined making mistakes. so she never practiced. I told her, "Lan, forget about conversations. Every morning while you make coffee, just speak English for 2 minutes. Describe your coffee. Say, 'The water is hot, the cup is blue.' That's it." She laughed. She thought it was too simple, but she did it. The first week, she just described her kitchen. The second week, she started describing her feelings. "The coffee smells good. I feel tired but happy." 6 months later, Lan is now having full conversations. Not because she forced herself to study hard, but because she made the hurdle so low that she couldn't say no. She built the habit of starting. What about you? What is the mountain you are facing today? Is it a project at work? Is it cleaning your room? Or is it simply getting out of bed? I want you to try something with me right now. No pressure, just a thought experiment. Think of that task, the one you are avoiding. Now break it down. Break it down until it becomes microscopic. Break it down until it fits into 2 minutes. Don't think about writing the report. Think about opening the laptop. Don't think about doing the laundry. Think about picking up one sock. Does that feel lighter? Does your chest feel a little less tight? That is the power of 2 minutes. However, there is a trap that many smart people fall into when they try this rule. Your brain is clever. It knows you are trying to trick it. It knows that you secretly want to do more than 2 minutes. And sometimes that creates a new kind of resistance. So, how do we handle that? How do we make this rule work even when we don't feel like doing anything at all? And how do we turn these small 2-minute islands into a continent of success? We are going to explore that in the next part of our journey today. Because starting is the first step, but continuing, that is where the magic becomes permanent. Welcome back to our quiet corner. If you are just joining us, we are talking about the art of starting. We are talking about how 2 tiny minutes can change the architecture of your day. Before the break, I promised we would talk about a trap. Because, let's be honest, you are smart. Your brain is smart. And sometimes, that intelligence is exactly what gets in the way. Here is the scenario. You tell yourself, "Okay, Mira, I will use the rule. I will just put on my running shoes. I will just run for 2 minutes." But deep down, a little voice in your head whispers, "You are a liar." It says, "You don't want to run for 2 minutes. You want to run for 30 minutes. Putting on shoes is just a trick, and I know it." And because your brain knows it is a trick, it still feels the weight of the 30-minute run. The resistance comes back. The invisible wall appears again. If you feel this, you are not alone. This is the fake 2-minute trap. It happens when we focus on the result, not the ritual. So, how do we fix this? How do we silence that skeptical voice? We have to change our definition of success. Listen to me closely. The first 2 minutes are not a warm-up. They are the main event. You have to give yourself full permission, complete 100% permission, to stop after 2 minutes. I mean it. If you put on your running shoes, step outside, lock the door, and then immediately unlock it and go back inside, you have succeeded. You won. Because you mastered the habit of showing up. Let me share a story with you. It is about a young man named Leo. Leo was going through a very dark season. He had lost his job. He felt lost in his career. And slowly, his life began to shrink. His room became messy. Clothes piled up on the chair. Dishes piled up in the sink. He stopped exercising. He stopped reading. He spent his days in bed, staring at the ceiling, feeling a heavy blanket of guilt pressing him down. He knew he needed to clean his room. He knew he needed to update his CV. But every time he thought about cleaning the room, he saw hours of work. He saw his failure staring back at him, so he did nothing, and the guilt grew heavier. One day, Leo heard about the 2-minute rule. He was skeptical. He thought it was just another productivity hack for happy, successful people. But he was desperate. So, he made a deal with himself. He said, "I will not clean the room. I will just pick up one coffee mug and put it in the sink." That was it, just the mug. He stood up. His body felt heavy. He walked to the desk. He picked up the cold, half-empty mug. He walked to the kitchen. He put it down. And then, he stopped. He didn't clean the rest of the room. He went back to bed. But something had changed. The air in the room felt different because for the first time in weeks, he wasn't a person who does nothing. He was a person who took action. The next day, he did it again. "I will just pick up 2 t-shirts." He picked them up. He put them in the basket. And this time, he felt a spark. A tiny, microscopic spark of energy. So he picked up a 3rd t-shirt, then a 4th. 2 weeks later, Leo's room was clean. A month later, he was going for short walks. 2 months later, he sent out his first job application. Leo didn't fix his life because he suddenly found motivation. He fixed his life because he lowered the bar. He made the hurdle so low that he couldn't fail. This brings us to a beautiful concept called identity shift. We often think habits are about getting things, getting a clean room, getting a fit body, getting fluent in English. But habits are actually about becoming someone. Every time you play the violin, even for 2 minutes, you are being a musician. Every time you open a book, even for 1 page, you are being a reader. Every time you choose a salad over a burger, even once, you are being a healthy person. Imagine your self-esteem is like a jar. Every time you do the 2-minute habit, you put a marble in the jar. 1 marble doesn't fill the jar, but over time, the jar gets full. And you start to look at yourself and say, "Hey, I am the kind of person who shows up. I am consistent." That belief, that identity, is what keeps you going when things get hard. Now, let's look at the other side of the coin. What happens when you don't stop? What happens when you put on the shoes and you keep running? Scientists call this the flow state, or simply, the zone. Have you ever noticed that the hardest part of writing an email is writing the first sentence? But once the first sentence is down, the second one comes easier. And suddenly, the email is finished. This is the physics of momentum. Friction is highest at the beginning. It takes a lot of fuel to launch a rocket, but once it is in space, it glides effortlessly. The 2-minute rule is your rocket fuel. It is designed to push you through that first layer of thick atmosphere. Once you break through, you enter a zone where effort becomes easy. You forget time, you forget worry, you are just doing. And this is where the magic lives. But, and please remember this, you cannot force your way into the magic. You can only invite it. And the invitation is just 2 minutes long. I want to pause here for a second. I want to speak to the perfectionists listening to this. I know you. I know how you think. You think that if you don't do it perfectly, it doesn't count. You think that reading 1 page is pathetic. You think that walking for 2 minutes is a waste of time. You are hard on yourself. You hold yourself to impossible standards, and when you can't reach them, you punish yourself with silence and inaction. Please, let that go. Perfectionism is just procrastination in a fancy dress. It is a shield we use to protect ourselves from the fear of being judged. The 2-minute rule asks you to be imperfect. It asks you to be humble. It asks you to be small. And there is so much freedom in being small. Let's try a visualization together. It will only take a moment. Close your eyes if it is safe to do so. Imagine a version of yourself 1 year from today. You look happy. You look calm. Maybe you are speaking English fluently with a friend. Maybe you are holding a book you finished writing. Maybe you are just sitting in a clean, bright room, feeling at peace. Now, ask that future version of yourself, how did you get here? They won't say, I climbed a mountain in 1 day. They will say, I just showed up, every day, for 2 minutes, even when I was tired, even when I was sad. I just showed up. Open your eyes. The path to that future is not a giant leap. It is 1,000 tiny steps. But there is one final piece to this puzzle. We have talked about starting. We have talked about identity. But what about the past? What about all the time we have already wasted? What about the regret that keeps us awake at night? Sometimes, the reason we can't start a new habit is because we are too busy punishing ourselves for the old ones we failed. We carry a backpack of should-haves. I should have started sooner. I should be better by now. How do we put that backpack down? How do we use the 2-minute rule not just to work, but to heal? This is the most important part. Because true productivity doesn't come from pushing. It comes from forgiveness. In the final part of our episode today, I want to talk to your heart. We are going to learn how to forgive ourselves for the wasted days so we can finally embrace the new ones. Stay with me. The best is yet to come. We have arrived at the final part of our time together. If you have been listening since the beginning, we have learned how to trick the brain. We have learned how to build momentum. We have learned how to become the person we want to be. But there is one thing left, and it is the heavy thing you are carrying in your heart right now. It is the guilt. You see, procrastination is a cruel cycle. First, we delay a task. Then, we feel guilty about delaying it. Then, that guilt makes us feel stressed and anxious. And because we are stressed, our brain wants comfort. So we procrastinate more to feel better. Round and round it goes. And with every circle, we feel smaller. We feel like we have wasted our potential. We look at the calendar and see months, maybe years, that slipped through our fingers. If you are feeling that regret right now, I want you to listen to me very closely. Please, forgive yourself. Forgive the version of you who was tired. Forgive the version of you who was afraid. Forgive the version of you who didn't know how to start. You cannot build a new life on a foundation of shame. Shame is heavy. It creates friction. It makes every step harder. The 2-minute rule is not just a productivity tool. It is an act of kindness. When you say, I will just do this for 2 minutes, you are saying to yourself, I know you are tired. I know you are scared, and that is okay. I will not force you to run a marathon. I will just ask you to stand up. It is a way of parenting yourself. It is treating yourself with the same gentleness you would show a child learning to walk. Imagine a child learning to walk. When they fall down, do you yell at them? Do you say, look at how much time you wasted on the floor? No. You smile. You hold out your hand. You say, it's okay. Just try one more step. You are that child. The 2-minute rule is that hand. I want you to think about the concept of a clean slate. Many of us wait for New Year's Day to start over, or we wait for Monday, or we wait for the first day of the month. But the truth is, you can have a clean slate right now. In the middle of a Tuesday afternoon, in the middle of a messy room, in the middle of a messy life, The moment you decide to take a 2-minute action, you cut the cord to the past. The past is gone. It is a ghost. It cannot touch you. The future is a dream. It hasn't happened yet. All you have is this moment, these 120 seconds. Remember Leo, the young man who started by picking up a coffee mug? I asked him once, "What changed everything for you?" He didn't say it was the clean room. He didn't say it was the new job. He said, "Mira, it was the first night I went to sleep without hating myself." That is the prize. That is what we are chasing. Not just success, but peace. The peace of knowing that today you showed up, even just a little bit. So here we are. The podcast is almost over. The silence will return to your room soon. What will you do next? I am not going to ask you to change your whole life today. That is too big. I am going to ask you for 2 minutes. Look around you. Find one small thing. Is there a glass of water you need to drink? Is there a text message you need to reply to? Is there a single English word you want to write down? When this music stops, I invite you to put your phone down. Set a timer if you need to. And just do that one thing. Do it imperfectly. Do it slowly. Do it with your pajamas on. But do it. And when you finish, I want you to take a moment to feel it. Feel that tiny spark of pride. That is the feeling of being alive. That is the feeling of taking your power back. Life is not made of years, my friends. It is made of moments. And you don't need to fix the years. You just need to take care of this moment, and then the next one, and then the next one. You are capable of more than you know, but you don't have to prove it all at once. Just 2 minutes. That is all it takes to turn the ship around. Before you go, I have a small favor to ask. I want to know what your 2-minute task is today. Scroll down to the comments section. Tell me, what is one small thing you are going to do right after this video? Maybe write, "I will wash 1 dish," or "I will read 1 page." Seeing your comments will not only inspire me, but it will inspire everyone else reading them. Let's create a wave of small actions together. Thank you for letting me be a part of your day. Thank you for trusting me with your time. Remember, be gentle with yourself. Start small and keep going. I am Mira, and I am cheering for you. I will see you in the next episode. Now, go take your 2 minutes.